She didn't expect the message to come in after years of silence. It wasn't a call, not a "how have you been," not even a basic apology, just a DM. And the moment she opened it, she already knew it was going to be a problem. Her sister had reached out for the first time in years, and she wasn't reaching out to reconnect. She wanted money. The message started with a story about stress, about tight finances, about her husband quitting his job months ago and things being difficult at home. Then it shifted. Her daughter, 16, had seen TikTok videos of her cousin, my daughter, preparing for prom. The dresses, the excitement, the fittings, the whole experience. And apparently, that had made her feel left out. According to the sister, the situation had become emotionally hard for her daughter. She wanted a nice prom too. She wanted the same experience, same energy, same dresses, same themes. And then came the request. Could she pay for the prom dress? And maybe more. She stared at the message for a while. Because this wasn't just about prom. This was about years. Years of distance. Years of no contact. Years of being treated like she didn't matter. Her sister, 38, and her, 36, had never really been close. Even when they did talk, it never felt equal. There was always tension, always comparison. Her sister had married into money and never let anyone forget it. She acted like it created distance between them, like it made her better in some subtle, unspoken way. No birthday messages to her kids. No check-ins. No effort. And eventually, she stopped trying too. She went no contact for peace. Because at some point, you stop pouring into relationships that keep draining you. And now, out of nowhere, she was being asked to step back in. Not emotionally. Financially. She looked around her house as she read the message again. Her own daughter, 17, had prom coming up on the 21st Street, and every single spare coin had already been planned for it. Appointments, dress, fittings, shoes, hair, transport, photos. Prom wasn't just a dress, it was an entire budget event. One she had been saving for carefully. Because she wanted her daughter to have that moment without stress. And she was already feeling the pressure of it. Then her sister added more pressure. So she replied simply no. In a long explanation. No emotional debate. Just a boundary. That's where everything exploded. Her sister didn't take it well. The response came quickly. Selfish. Heartless. Punishing. A child for adult problems. That last line stuck. Because that wasn't what was happening. She wasn't punishing anyone. She was protecting what she had already built for her own child. But in family dynamics like this, boundaries rarely get respected. They get challenged. And that's exactly what happened. Next, her sister escalated. Suddenly, it wasn't just a private conversation anymore. Other family members started appearing in the messages, calls, texts, side conversations. The narrative shifted fast. She was well off. She was refusing to help family. She was letting a child suffer over a dress. But what nobody seemed to acknowledge was the part she already knew too well. This wasn't about a dress. It was about responsibility being redirected. If she said yes, it wouldn't stop at the dress. It would become expectations, pressure, more requests, more comparisons. And she had seen this pattern before. So she stayed firm. No. Her daughter's prom was already planned, already budgeted, already emotionally invested in. She wasn't going to reshuffle everything because someone else had made a last-minute financial decision, especially someone she wasn't even in contact with. But the family didn't see it that way. They said she needed to be there for her sister during hard times. That family helps family. That it's just this once. But what they ignored was the history behind that sentence. Because just this once is rarely just once. And interestingly, the same people telling her to help weren't stepping in themselves. They were watching from the sidelines, commenting, judging, but not offering their own money, not offering solutions, just pressure and guilt. Meanwhile, she had her own reality to manage. Her daughter was excited, nervous, planning her day, thinking about photos, friends, memories. This was a once-in-a-lifetime moment for her, and she wasn't about to turn it into stress because of someone else's crisis, especially not a crisis that wasn't even being approached with accountability. Her sister's message made it sound like life had just happened to them, but her husband quitting his job months ago wasn't something she caused. Her daughter seeing TikToks wasn't something she engineered, and the idea that her daughter was rubbing it in made no sense to her at all. It was just a teenager sharing her life online. Still, the blame was being pushed in her direction. She sat with it for a while, not angry, not confused anymore, just firm, because at some point, clarity is simple. You can care about someone without carrying their responsibilities. You can acknowledge someone's struggle without fixing it for them. And you can say no without being cruel. She wasn't refusing because she couldn't help. She was refusing because she chose not to, and that distinction mattered, especially now, because she wasn't in a position where helping one side didn't affect the other. Her resources weren't infinite. Her time wasn't unlimited, and her daughter came first. That part never changed. Later, the messages kept coming, different relatives, same tone, disappointed, disapproving, calling her stubborn, calling her cold, but nobody asked her what it cost her to even consider saying yes. Nobody asked if she had already budgeted everything down to the last detail. Nobody asked if she had savings set aside that were already assigned to her own child's milestone. They only saw the refusal, not the structure behind it, not the planning, not the years of distance that led up to this moment, and definitely not the fact that this sister had chosen silence for years, only to return when she needed something. That part mattered more than anyone wanted to admit, because it set the tone for everything. Eventually, she stopped replying, not out of spite, out of exhaustion. There was nothing left to explain that hadn't already been said in one word. No. Still, the pressure didn't fully disappear. The family kept talking. The guilt trips continued. But her decision didn't move. Her daughter's prom was still happening. The dress was still picked. The plans were still in motion. And for once, she wasn't letting external chaos rewrite something she had worked hard to build for her child. The question being thrown around was simple. Was she the one in the wrong for refusing? But in her mind, the answer was just as simple. Helping family doesn't mean abandoning your own responsibilities, and being related to someone doesn't automatically make their crisis your obligation, especially when they only show up when they need something. The situation didn't end with reconciliation. It ended with silence, and a boundary that finally held.